I was watching an interview earlier today. It was on YouTube, and it was an interview you guys did in Fort Lauderdale. And
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Kind of like this interview.
Kind of like this interview, where people are going to be like, "Oh shit, that one sucked."
No way.
In the interview, you were talking about how when you were in Canada, or when you were crossing the border to Canada, you guys got busted with weed.
Yeah. We didn't. Gavin and I didn't.
Oh, the other guys did.
There's a member in the band and a tech in our within our business that got caught.
Let's put it this way: someone didn't throw something out when they should have thrown something out, and because of that, we all had to get naked for the very, very nice and kind Canadian Border Patrol.
No, did you really get
naked?
naked?
They were pretty funny though. Like, man, I don't like doing this. Obviously.
Yeah, they were very.
This is my.
They're our age, you know. These guys are late 20s. Like, look, this is the last thing I want to do.
Oh,
but this is my job, you know. The guy probably went home and smoked pot.
They probably said.
You know, it's like...
Well, that was kind of what they were saying. They're like, we have great marijuana up here. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? It's legal up here, you know? Like,
wait, it's legal in Canada?
It's partially, yeah.
It's like decriminalized, basically.
I think it's similar to Amsterdam, where you can... No, wait, it's not like similar to Amsterdam. You cannot buy it in the cafes, but you can bring your own in and smoke in certain cafes. But you can't purchase it there.
Wow.
And then if you do have it on you, I think that there's a possession limit. I think it's like less than half ounce or something. Maybe an ounce.
Damn.
So you can't just, you know, it's not completely legal, but there's a lot of cushion. Yeah.
That's what I hear. So now we're talking about weed. Does it help your writing process?
Gavin and I are probably not. Drew's the bigger smoker. I will say, after we've done something, not necessarily while writing or tracking, but after we've tracked something, it's a really good way to detach myself from being in the band, is to smoke and then listen. Okay. Because I actually can listen to it as if I'm not myself.
As if you're
I can look at the whole picture, not nitpick little things. So for that reason, I really enjoy it. But I definitely don't smoke a lot, you know.
Yeah, we used to smoke a lot. Just kind of phased out a little. But every now and then, you know. Now we'll smoke other drugs, like dimethyltryptamine.
Crack?
No crack.
Did you guys
mind expanding, not mind deteriorating.
Have you ever written on acid?
Not
I think so, no. I think that might be too intense to actually do. I'm more worried about the basic things in life. But, no, I mean...
Right, sober a lot, really.
For us, it's always been, you have these experiences, and then it's after the fact, I think, the influence comes in. It's never really been, let's do drugs and then write music. It's more, you go hiking, you go camping, you go out in the wilderness, and you experience all these wonderful things, and it just adds to your life experience in which you then write music too. You know?
Is it weird to look at all the years that have gone by and see the change, the progression of music?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
definitely a weird thing.
Yeah. How does it?
Especially the business side of things as well. You know, I mean, it's a whole different business now.
How does it affect you guys as a unit?
That's a good question. I guess we try to stay on our toes when it comes to ideas of how to keep things fresh, you know? Maybe not even musically, but what Gavin said on the business side, try to keep things, you know, it's not just making records and touring anymore. There's maybe little things here and there you can do with all the online mediums. And you know, it used to be more simple, I think. I think now there's more complexity to how to get yourself out there and how to kind of have things that people will talk about.
Yeah.
Talking points, you know? Is
that intimidating for you guys?
No.
Not really.
It's an exciting time in a way because there is no proper way, there's no formula that's really the right or wrong way to do anything nowadays, you know.
For sure.
Definitely in a transition. Maybe it's, you know, for another couple of years that'll be in a transition, who knows, maybe another 5 years, whatever, but I mean, obviously someone's going to come up with an idea and spearhead a new idea that's going to kind of be the business model and that people are going to follow in the future, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there yet. I mean, obviously a lot of people have tried things, you know. Trent Reznor's definitely a guy who's trying a lot of different angles and experimenting with like how to work the business, you know, and Radiohead did their free record thing or pay what you will. There's a lot of new ideas. Korn, I think, is doing something
membership
where
thing.
yeah, you pay a membership, and basically their fans will. I think they're putting out an EP every 4 months.
Whoa, really?
For a year, or I forget. It's every 4 EPs every 3 months. That's what it is.
It's almost like Columbia House when we were kids.
Yeah, if you're a member, you get it for free, or you can buy it for like
You just get it. It's your number.
When did they start doing this?
It's for their new record, so I don't know if it's completely set up yet, but I just read an article about it like 2 days ago.
Even if things don't work, it's great to see, creativity, trying things.
Do you guys think that Trent Reznor's onto something?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a guy that's, working hard to find the right thing, I don't know if all of his ideas have succeeded or not, but I mean, obviously he's a successful man, and it's great to see someone that's trying new things. He took a stance against the corporate side of the business, and,
He always seems to have a grasp on his audience, too. He always seems to know exactly what kind of people are into his music and buying or downloading his records. He seems to, he's not jaded, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and he's an older guy now, and he's still in tune with what's happening, So it's a good thing to see.
What's your motivation to keep Dredg going? Because you guys have been doing this for a decade.
There's a couple things for me personally. I mean, when we finished the record, on a very basic level, I was extremely proud of the record. So that's one of those things, that I don't think we'll ever stop creating music in some way, even if we take time off here and there. There's always a reward of hearing back what we've created. And then on the other side, the basic need of if we could just pay the bills, that would be amazing to have this as your career job your entire life. That would be a dream, but it's not that easy.
Definitely. What about for you?
I didn't listen to his answer because I was watching some people right here that were being weird, but
I said,
they pulled away. What did you say?
I said I want to take over the entire earth.
All right.
And
basically, I don't know what you said, but
indoctrinate children.
My person, I just don't feel like we're at a level where I'm happy with yet. And I feel like we could write better songs. We could, get to a bigger level. I don't know. That's.
Striving to improve is always huge.
Where you guys are at right now, because you mentioned you're not necessarily at a place where you're completely happy. Where is that place to where you will be happy? Or do you think that you're always going to want more than what you already have?
Yeah, I'm sure. Definitely from a creative standpoint, I don't think you're ever going to be completely content. There's always room to grow,
Yeah.
So on that level, I think that's like an ongoing thing.
I want a huge, ostentatious mansion. I think if you get to a point, like I said before, the previous answer, just if you can do it throughout your whole life as a career comfortably, and just that would be amazing. And to be timeless, I think we've always strived to. We would love the idea that 20 years from now, if someone could put on a Dredg record and it wouldn't be dated, we'd feel really happy about that.
In your opinion, what do you think makes a timeless record?
I think production has something to do with it, But then again, not always, because after a certain amount of years go by, then it becomes that era, and it can still be timeless. Like you can consider like a Def Leppard record timeless now, I guess, and that's definitely production-wise sounds like some of them, but they are as a band,
Honesty. I think the records that last are records that they kind of ooze honesty, Anyone that's trying too hard to fit into a certain niche or a certain scene, that comes off, especially years down the road. It's like looking back at your high school picture and you're like, I can't believe I fucking looked like that.
Content as well, I guess. I don't know. It's a tough call. It's not a defined line, really.
Well, because there's so many bands out there now. You have MySpace, and technology is insane, and everybody and their mom has a band. Do you think that...
My mom's in a band.
Is she really? Yeah. That would be amazing, dude. Because there's so many bands, do you think that the creative integrity is suffering in a sense?
No, because yeah, there's a bunch of really, really terrible bad bands out there that aren't creative at all, but there's so many that are very creative.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just lifting the veil and searching harder, But I mean, in a way, it's almost easier to find underground creative bands now than ever. Instead of having to trade tapes, you just go online and find them.
Yeah.
It is oversaturated, though. I think that it does make it difficult on some level because there are so many bands. It's like kind of become overwhelmed, and at least for myself, it's like someone will say, "Have you heard this band? They're great," and I'll be like, "Okay, I'll check them out," and I rarely do, just because I have like a small group of bands that I enjoy. I don't know, it's just overwhelming. There's so much music now. It's hard to grasp it all,
Does that make it harder as far as competition for Dredg?
I don't know. Maybe on the surface. I mean, someone hears our name, we've always thought that someone would hear our name and not really give it a thought because the name doesn't really spawn creative ideas in your mind. When you hear Dredg, it's like, So maybe on that level, it's like what Gavin said. People might hear it and be like, nah, I don't need to even check that out. But I think when it comes down to the music, competition really doesn't matter. I mean, we're confident in our uniqueness, so I'm fine with that.
I'm curious about your growth as individuals since, Leitmotif. How do you feel that you have grown individually and as a band?
I mean,
extremely different.
On a really basic level, I was 18, now I'm 30. So, like any human being, we've all grown. We all have things in our lives, personal lives have become completely different,
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, I don't even know how to
There's
answer
a lot
that.
more content within the industry, I think, within the business. Definitely, compared to even like 5 years ago, I'm at the point where I really don't care. But I do, I care about our music, but I don't care about opinions or anything like that.
Don't get nervous before I get on stage anymore.
Yeah. Did you used to be, or you said you used to get nervous?
Just like a natural nervous anxiety, I think that's...
Anything else?
You know what? Can we get do you guys need any more beer?
I'm good.
All right.
Thanks.
We're probably gonna order in a little bit. So thank you.
Yeah, I think what Gavin says, we still care immensely about the actual content of the music, but when you're younger, you get a little bit more swept up in caring about what other people think. I think now it's just like we've got to the point where we want to make a record that makes songs that we really enjoy. That's all that really matters.
When you were younger, was there a thought of wanting to be a bigger band than maybe you actually are now?
Of course, but at the same time, we've done things I never thought we were going to do. I mean, I think you always have to have a goal of being, succeeding to a high level. But I mean, playing in Europe, and we're about to go to Australia and selling out the Fillmore. I think there's definitely things we've done that if you would have told me back then, I would have been extremely elated for doing.
That's cool.
Yeah, of course you have visions of selling out arenas. So you have to.
What about labels? Because I know that you guys were on a major with Catch Without Arms, right?
Years ago.
Yeah, we worked for 9 years almost.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about majors now?
They seem a little obsolete in the rock world, or I'd say extremely obsolete actually.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the marketing. I mean, the money that they can put behind marketing is pretty untouchable. But when it comes to actually making a record, the old-fashioned way of making a record and promoting it, it's pretty obsolete now.
Yeah, I mean, I think they screwed themselves, basically. I mean, they're scrambling now because of their denial of what the internet could do, what the public could do with the internet, what iTunes can do. I mean, I think they were convinced themselves that people are going to buy, like, plastic circles the rest of their life, for an outrageous price, basically.
Some genres they still are, but in rock is...
It's still, I mean, way down comparatively, I know vinyl sales are on the up. which kind of makes sense in a way. They just feel more like a collector's. I was just actually did an interview yesterday, and we were talking about how, you go to a house party and people will just have CDs all over the place laying on the ground, but people never leave vinyl in there.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It's like much more of a respect for vinyl than there are CDs and beats and all that. Maybe people will just stack like a big pile of CDs without the case, or the shit will be, scattered all over the floor. And
It's all nicely organized, in alphabetical order.
yeah, that's always more of like a collector's thing. It's like a book, you want to have it on a shelf or something. So I think that's business so far. You've heard back more to that. I know with a lot of bands, I think we're doing it with that's pressing and get a digital code with the vinyl, so you'll have access to digital formats, so you can have it on your phone or computer or whatever, iPod. I think that's a great balance, because then you have the big artwork. It's important still, not that you even have to listen to it, but I think it's a great collector's item, and then to have that digital copy, which most people use nowadays, is a great balance. I think.
Since you mentioned vinyl, as far as the recording process goes with digital versus analog, do you see a big difference in that with modern bands?
Yeah, I mean, the best-selling records are still analog records. But it's almost a necessity nowadays with budget to do computers. And it's also about limitations. It's really important with what you can do with digital to purposely limit yourself a little bit. I think with limiting yourself, you'll be more creative. You'll come up with more creative ways to actually record, because there's so many corners you can cut with digital. But I will still always say that an analog, an all analog record will always sound better if it's produced correctly, of course.
I know a lot of bands that have the budget are kind of reverting back to all analog. If you can make it happen, I think it's a wise decision.
What about for you guys?
It's too pricey right now for us.
Yeah.
Just the tape alone, the physical tape, costs a lot for an entire record. If you're gonna track 70 minutes worth of music with B-sides and everything, all to 2-inch tape. That alone is a lot of money. Not to mention the time, because you don't have editing capabilities. So then you have more time going on. They have to be more rehearsed. And all that. We would love to. I think we've talked about going in and doing maybe an EP and doing all analog again, like Leitmotiv was completely all analog. Going back to that, it has a more spontaneous feel,
I want to ask about Cheng. I know you guys dedicated this last record to him.
Yeah.
What was it like your first time meeting him, and describe how he has affected you individually?
Very comfortable meeting him.
Yeah.
Huge heart, extremely sweet guy. We respected their band for many years. They're from Sacramento, so they're for the most part from our area, from Northern California. People we looked up to, and he was exceptionally nice, from the get-go.
I was very supportive of us too. Instilled a lot of confidence in us when we were on the road with him.
Passed on some good reading.
Really well-read man, yes.
How long ago was this when you first met him?
Was it 2004 was our first tour with him?
So, yeah.
What was the reason that you felt that you needed to dedicate the record to him?
Obviously he's in a position where, his life's on the line, and I think anytime a friend is in that position, and a friend like him who's supported us, and he opened for us at one of our Fillmore shows.
Okay.
His poetry. It seemed like
he was a fan of the band. So.
Unsaid thing to do.
It was. He was detailed about how he was into the band. It wasn't like, I like you guys. It was very detailed about lyrics and songs and things like that. So I know he meant it. We just felt like it was important to put it out there for him.